All right, listen. I need to talk to y'all, family, because some of y'all out here drinking energy drinks. They got you acting like you just got struck by lightning and bad decisions at the same time. I'm talking heart racing, eye twitching, texting your ex at 2 a.m. type energy. We're not doing that no more. This is where W energy comes in. This ain't that I'm about to fight a wall for no reason energy. Nah, this is clean, smooth, I can actually function like a normal human being energy. No sugar, no crash. No why am I sweating still sitting still moments. And the focus, crazy. I'm talking locked in like you just heard your name in the group chat. Plus flavors that actually taste good. Not that battery acid with the hint of regret y'all keep drinking. So do yourself and your heart a favor. Grab some W Energy and use my code Tevin Talks to get you 10% off. Because life's already stressful, you know. Your energy source shouldn't be fighting you too.
Welcome to Tevin Talks. This is not your typical podcast. We will get into wrestling, lifestyle, and mental health. This podcast is unfiltered and ready to go. The episode will begin in a moment, but before it does, go ahead and give us a follow on all social medias, Tevin Talks, and make sure you give us a follow on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple, wherever you may listen to your podcast. Here's Tevin.
Good evening, everybody. This is Tevin with Tevin Talks, and I'm here with my co-host. He goes by the name of...
It's Ben Grayson sitting on the other side of the microphone here.
Yes, sir. And Ben, I think we got a special guest on here. I'm talking about a heavy hitter. Somebody that I have asked a few questions over my time in my career, and he's always been straight up with me. You know, when it came to specifically promos, I'm just going to say that I think you're one of the best talkers in the game. I think that's very underrated. I don't think you get enough credit when it comes to that. I don't think you get enough credit for being one of the big men that actually gets in that ring and steps and does exactly what the hell he said he's going to do every single time you're in the ring, whether that is the emotion on your face, the strikes. And I mean, these strikes you give are hellacious. And I think everybody would agree to that. So,
ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who Tevin is talking about, with us tonight, the one, the only, Shane Taylor.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all boys for having me. I was going to wait to see if he was going to actually introduce me and say my name or if he was just going to keep gassing me. You know what I mean? So I'm glad you stepped in there. But no, I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Man. How's everything been going, man?
Well, life is beautiful. Obviously, just picked up a big win on ROH TV against Manser. You know,
Yes,
one of
sir.
the biggest stars in the game, world champion everywhere he's been, one of the hardest hitters, one of the most brutal fights that I've had recently. And I appreciate that from him. But like I said, and like I tell everybody, ROH belongs to STP. ROH is STP. This is our house, right? So I appreciate Manser for showing up. Now he can get his ass back to the back of the line like everybody else. Yeah, shouts out to him. Shouts out to the whole crew.
I think even leading to the driver, man. That last forearm you gave him, smoke. It was brutal.
I don't get paid by the hour, right? What I can appreciate about a guy like Manser is there is no frills, there is no bullshit, there is no games. The man is just ready to throw hands and let his nuts hang. You know what I mean? And I can respect that. When you do that, especially with me, it's not a good game plan, right? So all credit to him for all the world championships he's won before he showed up in ROH. But this shit is mine, right? And now he knows that.
Man, I love to hear that shit. So we're going to get it started, man. We actually reached out to a few people, and they got some questions for you. Question number one, what is the inspiration for Shane Taylor Promotions?
The inspiration for Shane Taylor Promotions is twofold. I'm a huge fan of boxing, right? One of my favorite fighters of all time is Floyd Mayweather. I can appreciate when he bought out his contract from Top Rank to promote himself because he didn't feel like he was getting the the promotion, the high-paying fights that a man of his accolades and a man of his accomplishments was supposed to receive at that time. So he took matters into his own hands business-wise. If other people are not going to promote you like you're the man, then promote yourself, right? So I took a lot of inspiration from that, the confidence, the will to bet on yourself and to prove yourself right and become one of the biggest box office draws that boxing has ever seen. The inspiration from that is one part of it, and the other part is, especially when you're talking about professional wrestling and who specifically black people have to be in this industry. There's always a yeah, but when it comes to marketing who we are and marketing our culture, you know, it seems like everybody else can adopt our walk, talk, mannerisms, slang, and make millions. Yet when it's on us, when we choose to be ourselves, there tends to be a problem. So I wanted to create something that celebrated who we are, that, you know, in every aspect. It doesn't matter what part of the culture you come from. You could be the jock, you could be the hood cat, you could be the kid from Pittsburgh who just wants to paint and be an artist when it comes to your craft. You can be a soldier, you could be anybody that has anything to do with this culture, and you will find yourself represented in STP. For good, for bad, you know, for however you want to take it, this is who we are. There's no reason for you to have to change who you are for marketing purposes. There's no reason for you to pretend to be something you're not so people can make action figures. None of that bullshit. What you see is what you get, right? And what you get is authentic representation of who you are and what we can be in this sport. So those two things have always been the inspiration for me.
And, you know, just over the years, you know, the faces of SCP have changed, but I would say for you, you've never folded and you never changed. Like, your stance on what you believe in, just like you explained, has always been a headliner for you and for everybody else. Like, they know when you guys are in the building what the hell's about to happen. It's as simple as that. Y'all don't hear that. Y'all can
Right.
talk. Every single one of y'all can talk. Y'all prove that. But when it comes down to fighting, a lot of people can't back that shit up. You can easily, and that's everybody that's with you as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're talking about, again, 3 decorated military veterans in Bad News and Tattoos, Carly Bravo, the Captain Sean Dean, and the Afro-Punk Trish Dora, an Olympic bronze medalist in Anthony Agogo, right? The best and the longest reigning pure champion in the history of Ring of Honor in Lee Moriarty, and a woman that personifies beauty, excellence, and badassery in Christian XO. There's no reason for us to run. There's no reason for us to hide. We gonna talk our shit and then we gonna beat your ass, right? And anybody else that's got anything to say, they gonna get their ass whooped too, right? There's no reason for us to be cowering to anybody, right? We are who we are, and who we are is the group that runs ROH.
That's facts. So I don't know how often you get this question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Who is Jack Frost?
That was the name that I started wrestling as. You know, we all get into this game and we're trying to find ourselves, right? Me being from Cleveland, one of the things that I took from that, my dad's nickname growing up was Tin Man, right? If you know the story of the Wizard of Oz, Tin Man had no heart, right? So I wanted to do something like that and have that same coldness that he had when he was growing up. And so that's what I went with. Obviously, being what my name is now, didn't stick with that, right? It's all about your evolution in this game. And I thought to myself, I could pretend to be something scary, or I could be myself, especially with who I am and what I truly believe. And I'm going to be even scarier to the people who know what that is, what that represents, and how I carry myself. So I'm scarier now being who I really am than trying to be something I'm not.
For sure. No, I get that. And it's like, I like to do my research, and like I've seen it
Cool.
before, but then I actually went back and watched the matches. I was like, that's him just turned on 1,000. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like you even like when, being called notorious, like I think if you
Mhm.
take all these together and you put it in, it's like it's Shane Taylor regardless. And it's like, you were hard hitting then, and it's like I think you've learned because when you started wrestling in what the early to it's what 20 plus years for you now?
I started 2007, so we're getting to be close to that, about 19 and some change.
19, yeah. And it's like, a lot of people do not last that long in the business. And
Mhm.
a lot of people have to they have to change. Like I said, you
Mhm.
might have changed the way you look, but
Mhm.
you didn't change your gimmick, your persona. Like well, it's not a
Mhm.
gimmick. It's Shane Taylor, plain and simple. You changed your name.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
For me, I know the rule, right? Is you're supposed to be larger than life and be this untouchable superstar, right?
Mhm.
I take the opposite approach. I've always been a man of the people. I've always been a blue collar dude. I've always been someone who does his work in quiet and tries to elevate others before myself. And for someone like me, the scary part about me is not that I'm this person on TV that you could never run into. No, the scariest part about me is I am very much someone that you could run into on the street.
Mhm.
I am very much someone that will catch you talking slick on socials and punch you in your damn mouth. I am someone who will see you outside and upon sight beat your ass down for any sort of disrespect that you showed me. That's who I am.
And that's how it's supposed
And
to be.
for a lot of people, especially in this industry, that's lost. Right? There's a lot of people who talk a lot of shit that can't fight. Right? I'm not one of those people. Right? So I always advise people, I don't care where it is, who it is, on what platform it is, to watch your mouth, because this is a small, even with this being a global industry,
Mhm.
it is a small world. And eventually we will run into each other. And when I catch you, I catch you.
Plain and
No,
simple.
no, plain and simple.
That's a fact. So another thing I want to hit on as far as when I was saying promos in the intro,
Mhm.
when it comes to cutting promos, I don't think you again get enough credit, and I think plenty of people can learn from your work. So, what advice can you offer to wrestlers that need help in elevating in the promo game?
Stop trying to cut promos. Stop trying to be pro wrestler. Stop pretending to be something that you're not, and talk and speak from the heart. Um, anything that I'm saying when I'm speaking, I believe. So it's not hard to come up with something to say because I'm saying exactly what I feel.
Mm.
Um, and to me, that's always been the biggest part of this. We sell emotion, right? And a lot of people try to curate that or package that and try to then give it to people, but people can tell when it's inauthentic. They can tell when it's fake. They can tell when you're trying to sell them something.
Mm.
I speak from the heart. If I say, you know, uh, if I say I'm a beat your ass, I'm telling you to your face, I'm a beat your ass. If I'm telling you what I don't like about you, if I'm talking about your personality, or if I'm talking about the fact that if you decide to sign this contract and fight me, I'm gonna beat you to within an inch of your life. I believe that. I mean that, right? And so, to me, that's where my success comes from in that department, is simply speaking from the heart,
Mm.
and using that real emotion to drive that point home.
So, let me ask you on a side note: what do you when you need to give every bit of emotion? Because I feel like every promo I've seen you in, it's always been cutthroat. Again, I will beat your ass, but
Mhm.
it's like you have that spin on it for that certain superstar. Is there somewhere that you have to reach mentally to get that out of you, or is just it's on?
I mean, you're talking to a man from the east side of Cleveland, Ohio, right? I grew up there when they weren't trying to fix the city, right?
Mm.
When you could go to the gas station and see somebody stretched out, right? So I don't need to reach for anything emotionally. It's already there.
Hmm.
I already have that fire, that chip, whatever you want to call it. I have the want to destroy people in front of me, however I need to do it. Well, if it's physically, fine. If it's verbally, I don't care. Whatever you want, whatever you want to do, I am with whatever, right? Because my goal is not only to elevate myself, but the people around me in this game. That means that I'm going to have to play this game like the way people understand that it needs to be played. And for a while, I kind of ran from that, right? Because I didn't want to be that guy, right?
Hmm.
But it's necessary, right? And so if I have to do that, then I'm going to be the best at that, right? So now I understand just how ruthless I have to be, not just for being ruthless' sake, but because it's how shit gets done.
Hmm.
And if that's the way it needs to get done, then that's what I'm going to do.
That's a fact. And I think for a lot of people too, like you saying, being your authentic self when it comes to wrestling, people I think depend on gimmicks too much nowadays to get over. Like, I mean, you have your I'm just gonna throw it out there, you have your Danhausen's, like that's his thing. You got your Santinos, that's his thing. You got Ron Killens, that's his thing. Like that's his gimmick that works for him. That's not everybody. And it's not ever going to be everybody. So my thing is you have to stand out. And I tell people this all the time. Again, I wrestled going on 10 years and I will never consider myself a veteran to anybody, but I've seen enough to know where, guys, this doesn't work for everybody. And people, like you said, 10 too many times of just trying to be something they're not. And it shows. Because if you're going to be the best wrestler in the world, you got to go be that wrestler in the world. And you're going to have to stand out. You're going to have to put in that work. A lot of people, again, just spin off those gimmicks and think, okay, this looks funny. I can post this. It's going to get me signed. It doesn't work like that.
Not at all. I mean, the thing is, there's no right or wrong way to do this shit. You know what I mean? Everything is subject to interpretation, and you're playing to not only the fans of this industry, but to fans of all entertainment. You're also playing to those who make the decisions, right? So you never know who's going to like what, who's going to choose what's going to get that offer for you, right?
Yeah.
And there are people who have made careers off of using those, off of using those styles. And I'm never going to knock folks for how they choose to make a living. But I think sometimes people underestimate the ceiling that something like that can cause. It's very hard to make some things world championship level stuff, right? You can be very entertaining and sell a lot of merchandise and do a lot of those things. That's fantastic. And you can have a long career. And if that's what you want, fantastic. You'll get no argument from me. But if your goal is to do more than that, then people are going to have to see you differently, right? They're going to have to not only see the funny side of you and the entertaining side of you, but they're going to have to see that mean streak come out. They're going to have to see that you're capable of committing true violence when you're in that ring, right? That's the only way that you're going to get it done. This is a violent game, right? It's violent by design, right? So that's going to need to be something that shines through just as much as the entertainment that you're trying to bring.
I understand that. So let me ask you, you joined Ring of Honor originally, what, around 2014? Is that correct?
Around 2015, yes, sir.
2015, got you. So in your personal opinion, what is the biggest difference you see going on 10 plus years now than you did back then? What is the biggest difference for Ring of Honor for you?
It's a good question. I think in the original era of ROH, you had a group of individuals, both men and women, who were the outcasts of the industry, right? They were the men and women who were told they weren't aesthetically pleasing enough to be on TV, or they were too small, or that their style was too physical, or that what they did wasn't going to translate into global success, right? And you got all of those people with the same motivation, with the same desire to hold up a middle finger to the expectations of this industry. And they created one of the most innovative brands in the history of the sport. And now almost every champion that you see in a top spot has Ring of Honor ties.
Mhm.
So for me, that spirit of bucking the system, that spirit of going against the traditions of this sport, to me, that is the attitude that Ring of Honor should have. Ring of Honor was always punk rock. Ring of Honor was always hip hop. It was always the alternative. It was always against the status quo. It didn't feed into it.
What's going on, guys? Positive Pro fan Justin here. Hope you're enjoying the show. And if you are, don't forget to check out the other shows we have here on the Tevin Talks Network. We got Motivational Mondays. We got interviews with some of your favorites. Look out for them. Big name stars. We have reviews by yours truly. A little bit of everything. If you're enjoying this show, please make sure you go check out the other shows we got on this network. We love you guys. Please keep enjoying.
But like I was saying, yeah, it's always been punk rock. It's always been hip hop. It's always been counterculture. And I think when you have a group of talented individuals like they had then and like we have now, the desire to outdo everybody else night in and night out. So there is no, there can be no room for error. There can be no confusion as to what the best wrestling on the planet is. Right. That's a lesson that I took from my time there with the Briscoes, with, you know, Mark and Jay, with Jay Lethal, with your Matt Tavins, your Bennetts, your Samoa Joes, your Danielsons, all of the guys that I saw there and I got to either learn from or compete with or compete against, your Adam Coles. So for me, when I think when I step out onto that stage, when my people come out with me, that's the spirit of ROH that we bring. Is that counterculture? Is that middle finger to the system? Is that confidence to say, I don't care what this establishment says. I don't care what you think, you know, makes a wrestling star. We are stars, whether you want to admit it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have to deal with that one way or the other.
And I think, and this is just my personal opinion on what I've been seeing. Like the last 4 months, you guys have like just started. It's like a damn skyrocket. Like everything that y'all been producing as of lately is fucking money. And you guys have been doing it. Don't ever take that from. I'll never take that from you guys. I'm not saying that. But what you guys been doing recently is going off. The talent, the matches, like everything makes sense. Everything is flowing. And I see so many mixed reviews on Leo Rush. I'm not trying to go against the grain on this, but like it's shit like that people are not paying attention to of how great that is. I just seen the promo that Trisha Dora just cut. Like it's so damn genuine. Like you guys are putting in that work. If it's for me, my personal watch or what I want to watch, I want to see this product. This makes sense to me. Like everything is wrestling, but it's like this right here again. Like you guys, that itch for wanting to make it known y'all are the best. Y'all are doing that right now. Everything that you guys are doing right now is putting in so much damn work. It's shining. I promise you.
Thank you. The something that I've had to remember as I go through and put all this effort into the things that we do, right? The average adult has like a 6th grade reading level and like a 6th grade comprehension, right? You're dealing with a society with shortened attention spans who are very gullible a lot of times. You see what I'm saying? So you have to asking people to think past whatever they see surfacely is a challenge for a lot of people. Understanding that I get why some people wouldn't understand what Leo is doing. But like you're saying, if you're paying attention and you have the ability to think and to have patience, what Leo is doing is something that's going to reward you because you're following the story, right? Not only with the introduction, but someone made a great point about how much of the black is spreading in his eyes, right? And if you've ever seen Blackheart Leo Rush in, let's just say, his full form, his ultimate form, his pupils were blacked out, right? And you've seen the entrance. I've seen the heart painted on the chest, the stuff coming out of the mouth. You know what? I'm not even going to spoil anything for people who are waiting, who haven't seen it, right? But if you are paying attention and you are patient, what you are going to get with Leo Rush, I think, is something that only a few people can truly provide and truly have provided in this industry, right? And I'm talking about guys like Taker, guys like Bray Wyatt, even like Aleister Black, right?
Yep.
That make you uncomfortable, right? A lot of people do evil shit and it looks hokey, right? It's like the it's like the guy that you know is sawing someone in half, but it's fake legs, right? It's not really, it's not working. Leo Rush makes people uncomfortable. And the first thing that people do when they get uncomfortable is they usually try to shit on it. They usually try to downplay or diminish it because they don't get it, right? And so they're going to assume that other people don't, right? But we're all not that stupid. So he is someone who genuinely, when he walks, when he's talking to himself, right? He's talking to an entity. He's talking to something, right? If you were right now to not say anything, but scream at the top of your lungs, you can hear that, right? That's something. That consciousness is something, right? And so that is who Leo is talking to. And if you are talking to someone who that part of them has taken over, he can no longer be held liable for his actions. That's a different person altogether. So for me, it'll be interesting to see how Leo Rush evolves, how he competes, how he manages what his goals are, right? Because who knows what I don't even know if I should call him Leo, right? Like I don't know whatever this person's goals are, right? The way I see it, as long as he ain't in our way, he ain't a problem, right? But the second he becomes in our way, then I don't know if we got to get a wooden stake. I don't know if we got to get some garlic for his ass, but we gonna figure out what it is, right?
So what happens when this being that's becoming of Leo Rush says he wants in an STP?
Hey man, there's room to talk, right? My goal ultimately would be to unify every wrestler that can understand and appreciate my cause under one banner and create something that this industry has never seen before. And I don't mean just taking over ROH or AEW. I'm talking about globally, right? Have a crew of people walk into New Japan, have a crew of people walk into Noah, have a crew of people walk into any company on the face of this planet and absolutely run it because we have the talent, we have the ability to, right? And the only thing stopping that is people's perceptions of what stars can be and what they accept from us. We don't have those restrictions, nor do we give a fuck about them.
Understood.
Right? So my goal would be to find any and everyone that can understand what I am trying to accomplish and appreciate that. And we take over the world. And then if you can't, then you are either tossed aside or you are ran over.
Straight like that. So, in your personal opinion, just to help, because again, I feel like you are, and maybe it does happen, but I think just from what I would say, I visually see on social media, I don't think people, again, maybe they're scared of you, but I don't think people publicly will come up and ask you to help them in the wrestling scene. So, I want to know, in your personal opinion, what do you think the indie scene is missing right now?
I don't think it's missing anything. I think the indie scene has always been a place where creativity blossoms, and you'll have eras where there's a boom and then all the talent gets snatched up, but all that
Mhm.
does is leave room for the next generation to create. So it's wide open. It's the Wild West now for people to figure out what people want to see and figure
Mhm.
out who's going to be that next star that people talk about,
Mhm.
right? I think there's been a loss in what the indies were supposed to be. And I think a lot of people use the indies to get somewhere else, right? And people are like, well, yeah, that's the business. Shut the fuck up, right? What I'm saying is having the pride for me, like a Suge D, right? Like a Wilson, to take pride in being the journeyman, to take pride in being the guy that lives independent wrestling and puts that on his back like puts that on his back and wears that as a badge of honor to say no, this is what it is. This stage, this platform is all you need to be able to make a living doing this.
Mhm.
If you can be successful at this right here, you have full artistic expression, full ownership of who you are. On the indie scene is the most powerful that you can actually be.
Mhm.
You lose some of that when you sign somewhere, right? So if you have the ability to make the type of money that you can while still completely controlling your own autonomy, that is what the indie scene can be
Mhm.
for those who are able to extract that from it.
Mhm.
Right. So to me, I don't think it's missing anything. I think it's wide open for anyone to take. And I'm anxious to see who does it.
Fair enough. So, this is, I've been wanting to ask you this for a good long time.
Mhm.
For those that do not know publicly, how were the Pretty Boy Killers formed?
The Pretty Boy Killers were formed, myself and Keith Lee. Um, Once I moved down to Texas, I started going to uh, NWA Lone Star, I believe it was at the time. Met Keith there along with Jax Dane, and my boy Ray Rowe got me down there. Is the reason I'm in Texas in the first place, and then he moved, chump. Uh, no, super happy for him. Shout out to him, his wife Sarah, and their two beautiful sons. Um, Cash and Zeke, baby Dina on the way. Love all them.
Yeah.
Um, but me and Keith both had similar visions to what I've been saying, right? You can be a star in this industry and not fit the prototypical mold of what people think a champion is, right?
Mhm.
When people think champion, they think blonde hair, blue eyed, uh, they think certain aspects come to mind, and
Mhm.
both of us wanted to shatter that, right? Um, when he says he's limitless, he means that. The
Mhm.
man's a bona fide genius, incredibly intelligent, um, can build computers from nothing, right? And then can also be 300 plus pounds and move with the agility of cruiserweights,
Mhm.
a third of his size, right? There's nothing that I haven't seen that there's nothing. I believe there's not anything he couldn't do, right? It would just be a matter of time until he figured it out.
Mhm.
And even that wouldn't take that long. Um,
Mhm.
so you combine that with my fortitude my mindset, my street mentality, and that has adapted into a business mentality, and you get two guys who are ready to take over this entire game.
Yeah.
I think when we were in ROH, we were teaming for a little under a year in a tag team division that included the Briscoes, the Young Bucks, the All Night Express, and a few others, right? So you were looking at arguably at that point the best tag team division in all of wrestling, with people that we could have told stories with for years, right? But that premise of killing the image of the pretty boy, killing the image of what a superstar can be, of what not only fans but owners, sponsors, anything that they think a star can be, or they think a star should or shouldn't be, we were going to shatter that. And I think we both still kept that same mindset, right? He is someone who wants to be himself and is uncompromising about that, and so am I, right? Anything other than who we are would be fraudulent, and that's neither of us.
That's facts. So, man, it's a little game that we recently came up with, and you actually are going to be the first person that we're doing with live. It's called Lucha Time. This is a game. We give you 10 random topics, and you just say the first word that comes to mind when we say it.
Okay.
Cool. All right. We've already hit on it, but number one, indie wrestling.
Thriving.
Okay. Number two, Cleveland.
Tough.
Number three, STP.
Legendary.
Okay. Number four, the Infantry.
Charismatic.
Number five, ROH.
Home.
Number six, Caprice Coleman.
That's an interesting one, because I've known Caprice for a long time, and he just did an interview with Lee Moriarty and referred to me as a gangster, right? Or referred to what I did as gangster activity. So me and him are going to have a conversation about that for damn sure. But I would say loyal.
Heard that. Number seven, Keith Lee.
Limitless.
Number eight, Marcus Garvey Driver.
Destructive.
Number nine, six-man tag championships.
The baddest.
Number 10, Lariat Tubman, Trish Adora.
Do. Do. As in, what's coming to Trish has been coming for a long time. And it is much deserved. It is only a matter of time before she is holding championship gold in ROH herself. She has the opportunity at Supercard to walk away women's world champion. I don't think there's anybody better to hold that championship, if not Athena herself, than Trish Adora. I think she is stepping into an era of confidence in herself, in her work, and in who she is that rivals her run from the previous ROH run that she had, right? People forget, this is the longest reigning Pan-African world champion in history, right? She is a dominant force in this game, and when she is on her A game, there are not many women on the planet who can keep up with her, right? Or withstand the physicality that she brings. So do, for sure.
That's facts. You just killed that shit. Just let me know that's a game that we got to keep playing, Benny, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
That's a fact. So,
So
man,
Shane, real quick, you talked about growing up in in Cleveland, and you said in the game, tough and everything.
Mhm.
What was the moment like? Was pro wrestling always going to be it for you, or did you have something else? Like what sparked that love of wrestling that made you want to do it?
What happened for me was, again, and this is the trope. You grew up in a violent city and all of that, but I'd been to more funerals by the time that I was 10 than I care to even talk about. Right. So for me, for me, when we used to watch wrestling, right? And y'all know back then there was like 4 pay-per-views a year. It wasn't like one every 2 weeks like you got now, right? Like you had WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, I want to say Survivor Series, and maybe SummerSlam, right?
Yep.
And so my family all lived within a few blocks of each other. None of us really had cash, but everybody would get kind of like one a year, right? So we would all get them. And when we were all together, right, that was the only time that we were sure that everybody was safe. We didn't have to worry about anybody not coming home. None of that, right? Everybody was in the house. Everybody was safe. And to me, that level of family, that level of that peace that it brought made me want to be able to provide that for other kids that grew up the way that I did, right? And not only to have that, but to see themselves represented on screen and not be a caricature of what society thinks that they are. To truly look at themselves on screen and be able to say, I can do that shit. I can be that. Right. And stand in their pride, stand in their confidence, stand in their power and their knowledge of self, and be who they are supposed to be. And find a way to elevate above their surroundings and their conditions. That is what that has always been for me. That's why I refuse to compromise who I am, to elevate somewhere that I know I didn't earn just simply being me. Right. So that's something that I've always wanted to do. There were other things, whether it was football or amateur wrestling. I was going to go into the military and follow my dad's footsteps. He said no. He said he would rather me sell drugs, actually.
Wow.
I mean, that's a conversation that we'll have off air, right? But yeah. So if I wasn't going to do any of those things, then it was going to be this. And I wanted to do it and be the best at it. And I think I'm well on my way to doing so.
That's facts, man. That's Benny. Thank you for that. Honestly, that was good. So, if you had to say through your career, what would you say are your top 3 feuds of all time?
My top 3 feuds would be myself and Ray Rowe. That is what brought me and Keith into ROH, is our feud with the War Raiders. And I think that's a match that people will still talk to me about to this day, as the first time they saw us, and that left a lasting impression. My feud with Kenny King that ended with a fight without honor.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's when you get the intensity and the emotion from me that someone like a Ray Rowe or a Kenny King or a Jay Briscoe can bring out, then you truly get me at my best. I am someone who thrives in that moment. And until we get to there, like, it's just like fighting. Until we're actually throwing hands, it's all just talking bullshit. I'm not interested, right? Once you decide that this is what you want to do, okay, now you got my attention, right? And I think my feud with Keith that introduced me to AEW. That's one that, again, there's a lot of emotion there. Not only is he my brother, not only is he my friend, not only is he a tag team partner, but you're also then battling the opinions of the outside world. Okay, well, he's more successful. He must be better than you. It's like, that's not always the case.
Mm.
He just got his turn before me.
Mm.
Right. And now, once I'm here, and once we're on the same stage and in the same ring, now we'll see whose journey led them where to this matchup. Right. And so those three for sure are ones that I think brought the best out of me.
Thanks. I think that that neck breaker through the ladder or chair? I think it was the ladder.
Ladder, yeah.
Yeah, that was
Hey man,
that always plays in my head, dude.
of course. And this is a high risk game, right? So I always love when you see people on there talking shit like, oh, well, you can't shut the fuck up. Shut up. Right? Everything we do is risky in this game. Fucking everything. Right? Yep. You would have someone that all they did was do a leg drop for 50 years, right? And need complete reconstructive hip surgery, right? You could have people who didn't do shit, who've had 80 knee surgeries, right? So everything we do, there's risk, right? And we take the risks because we want the reward, we want the glory, we want we want everything this game has to offer, right? So I make no apologies for trying to take everything I can from this game and to try to take everything from an opponent who wanted to do the same to me, right? That is the game, right? It is what it is, right? But shouts out to Kenny too, because those lessons that he taught me leading up to that match and through that match are ones that I still apply, right? When I was in the original STP, I wanted to make sure that everybody around me was elevated first. And something that Kenny told me was, hey, all of that is well and good, but the only way that you're truly going to make the difference that you want is when you're the Ring of Honor World Champion. And there's only room for one. You can't have multiple people hold that championship. That's your spot. Mm-hmm. You have to run things from that perspective. Mm-hmm. And at times, I think I lose sight of that because, again, my goal is so much bigger. But he's right. So there's that. There's also the fact that for me, the goal is to be the baddest, to leave that legacy that extends further than just the ring. And so for me, I don't necessarily have to have the belt to be the baddest, right? Even when Ali was stripped of the world championship, he was still the greatest, right? So for me, those two things play in my head. But we will see. Maybe there's a time where it'll be both.
Facts. Speaking into existence, man. If anybody can do it, you can, and that's fact. Absolutely. And be dominant with it. Mm-hmm. So this is always one of my favorite questions, man. We always throw a spin on it depending on who we interview. So, what is your heel Mount Rushmore?
It's funny because that depends upon your interpretation of who a bad guy is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. And I want to say this too, as a side note, like I compare you, and you can agree with it or not. I compare you to Thanos.
Huh.
I compare you to Thanos because of the reasons like you give off that aura. You don't play that shit. But at the same time, a lot of people don't understand, bro. Thanos had some truth in what he was saying. Not some. He had a lot of truth in what he was saying. Y'all just didn't like how he went about it.
He wasn't like how he went about it. He wasn't wrong. But here's the thing about it, right? People can knock his methods, but you are currently living in a society that was created by those same methods. Mm-hmm. So it's hypocritical to sit here and talk about violence or what someone else has done or what your values and what your beliefs are, because you profit from destruction, you profit from death, you profit from theft, you profit from all of these things, right? You get to live comfortably only because you're not the one actually doing it. To me, that just makes you a coward. If you're going to get something, if you're going to inquire something, the honorable thing would be to take it yourself. Right?
Yes.
If you can't do that, again, it makes you a coward. So, as far as if we're going upon that reasoning and that logic, Thanos would be in there. Now, are we talking wrestling or are we talking overall?
You know what? For you specifically, if you want to go for real, like you want to go 4 characters and 4 wrestlers, let's do that. I'm cool with it. Let's do it.
Thanos, Killmonger.
Okay.
I was just watching. I've been watching 2 shows that I'm kind of late on, but I always catch stuff late. That's Empire and Godfather of Harlem.
Okay.
I would put Lucius Lyon and Bumpy Johnson both up there.
Okay. I got you.
Because it's always been funny to me that people can hate the bad guy until they need the bad guy to do bad guy shit. And then once they're done doing that shit and the problem is resolved, then they go back to being hated. That's always sat wrong with me, right? Because it's necessary, right? And the only thing that keeps bad men away is worse men. That's it, right? So in order to stop these bad men, you have to have, it is a must that you have worse men on your side to do the shit that you don't want to do or can't do. So Lucius and Bumpy Johnson both, I think, are men of contradiction, but also men of necessity. Right, just like the other 2 names that I mentioned. So if I had to pick 4 characters, it would be the 4 of them. Moving into wrestling, that's interesting. Let me see here. I would go Flair.
Okay.
I'm going through eras and I'm going through companies trying to see who stacks up where.
It's one I'm wondering if you're gonna say, because it's been a popular name recently, and I love it because I don't feel like he got enough talked about at all. I'm gonna see if you hit on him.
Shit, I might miss him. Hold on. I think Christian Cage is there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, once you do your job well enough, you become popular, right? It's this sort of sick thing that people have in society where they just love to be shit on. It's strange, but I think he's someone who does that well.
That's simply another one I don't feel like talking wise on the mic, promo wise, ring work does not get enough fucking credit.
Not enough.
And that shit is insane.
Honestly, and this might be out of left field, but the New Day run when they were heels.
I don't see nothing wrong with that.
Because again, I appreciated their inception and how they played into, again, the characteristics of what's supposed to make a character lovable and supposed to make you likable. We're dancing and we're clapping. You don't like us? right? That same tired trope that we're supposed to have as entertainers, right? Especially black ones, right? That they turned on its head. And then when they decided to stop doing that, right? To stop giving people that, to stop feeding into that. And the second that they stop pandering to you, you now dislike them.
Mm-hmm.
I think exposing people that way and exposing their thoughts that way, their feelings and emotions is ingenious, right? Because you don't necessarily have to be a bad guy. You just have to be the one that holds the mirror up, right? So I would say them. Last one. I think Angle.
Mm.
I think Angle.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Angle, bro.
Yeah, like
you can't.
And I'm gonna say Angle because he, especially, you know what, Angle specifically in his TNA run.
Okay.
Because I think when he was in that run, he allowed himself to reach another level of intensity.
Facts.
And was able to bring more of the grit to who he was, as opposed to just being the Olympic guy, right? I think he was able to unleash more of that killer in TNA. And when he's talking, right, not only is he entertaining, but he could talk himself and talk that shit with the best of them, right? I think his
I work
feud
their ass too.
Any day of the week, right? His feud with Joe, that shit was legendary. So those would be my four. Yeah.
And I always, Kurt Angle's easily one of my favorites. Like you said, his TNA work. I think the very end of his WWE stint, I always, like I talked to Ben about the mouthpiece angle. God damn it, going into TNA, dude, some of his best work. Again, he was able to be 1000% him talking, because I mean they knew he could talk in WWE, but I mean we always got the funny Kurt Angle. And don't get me twisted when I say this, he had fucking great matches in WWE.
Incredible
but
match.
In TNA, he was able to show you how good he could work easily.
There is a difference between having great matches and showcasing great fights. I am not the best wrestler in the world, but I will put on a hell of a fight every single time you see me, right? That is what I appreciate. He can do both. But to me, that is what I appreciate when I watch this game.
That's facts.
Who was it that you were thinking of?
Piper.
Solid.
Roddy Piper. And and people can say what they want. I mean, to me, I feel like he could work really good too. But I think just, again, somebody like you hit on with Flair, you could, and Flair is simply, he has to, if he's not in your top 10, top 5, you're asleep. I don't care who it is.
Yeah, it's tough to make that list without having Flair on it.
Most definitely. And I think too, regardless if you think that he couldn't wrestle, he talks so much shit to your spirit that you like, yeah, I have to see what he can do in this fucking ring. Now I have to, because the way he's talking to me, he's talking reckless. But he's making sense. He's got the women out here on and oohing, throwing pennies, and he's got the guys like, oh, this motherfucker can talking shit. So now you got to show me. So I feel like the Flair brought that out of everybody.
So I mentioned Floyd, right? That, you know what? I'm going to replace Bumpy Johnson with Floyd Mayweather.
Okay.
Right? Because, again, what do you do with someone who drives better cars than you, wears better clothes than you, lives in a bigger house than you, dates women that you couldn't even imagine, right? Spends more money on lunch than you've made in your life, talks all that shit, and you can't whoop his ass.
You can't beat him.
You can't whoop his ass, right? There's nothing you can do but sit there and take it, bro,
Mhm.
and hope your favorite fighter can do something. But guess what? They can't whoop his ass
No,
either,
no.
right? So you have to watch your favorite fighter over and over and over get their ass whipped by
Yeah.
this man. Steady talking more shit, steady making more cash, steady doing all this shit, right? Flaunting, burning money in front of
Mhm.
you, right? To me, that is the epitome of what a bad guy is supposed to be,
Yeah.
right? And if you are not going to pay to see him showcase his skill, you are paying to hope whoever it is in the ring with him is going to knock his ass out,
Yeah.
right? Either way, you are buying, right? So that to me is the epitome of what it means to be that guy.
And I hate one thing I hate when people talk about Floyd, man, is that he moves too much. All what do you it's boxing.
So
Am I supposed to sit here and let you fucking hit me? No, I'm not. You talking
remember
about
when
somebody
I
who has some go
listen,
ahead.
remember when I said about the comprehension thing,
Mhm.
right? People are dumb, right? So there is a huge difference between boxing and fighting.
Mhm.
When I talk boxing, I've watched it my entire life, right? I
Mhm.
study it. I
Mhm.
ask people before we start talking boxing, are you a fighting fan or are you a boxing fan? Because this is a completely different conversation
Mhm.
depending on who you are,
Facts.
right? If you can't appreciate head movement and defense when the art and the sport of boxing and the game is the sweet science to hit and not be hit. My goal is not to let you stand here and us slug punches until someone gets concussed and gets knocked out.
Mhm.
Anybody at the bar could do that bullshit. There's no
Yep.
art in that.
Yep.
There's no beauty in that. But to sit there, catch fire, slip, roll, move, play off the know when to grab, know when to let go, know when to throw a slip counter, catch counters, right? To do all of these things to exploit the tiniest openings in other people that are specialists at
Mhm.
at this particular thing, world class, and to be able to see when he's setting up a knockout punch in the third round and doesn't land it until the 11th, right?
Mhm.
You can see every time he moves this way, his opponent feints this way, or they duck this way, or they counter this way, and you can see the progression. It's like a painting. And when he's done and he creates his masterpiece, it's another win for Floyd,
Mhm.
right? And if you don't, and no different from wrestling or boxing or anything else, if you don't know what you're watching, it's going to be wasted. And you're
Facts.
only going to look at it for whatever it is on the surface.
Facts.
But when you're able to think further and look deeper, then comes the appreciation for the art that you're witnessing.
Couldn't have said it better myself, bro. Honestly. The goat. And as my last thing on that, people will sit here and try to. I feel like you can't argue that and not again because a lot of people do not know boxing or looking
Mhm.
back in the history of it. Dude, I think maybe people think that Muhammad Ali was a knockout specialist, and he was far from that. Now he could knock you the hell out. Don't get me wrong, but you go back and look at his old tape, but he's moving the entire time. My favorite, I do not know who he was fighting at this time, so forgive me, but you know what I'm talking about when he literally sat in the corner and
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying, and just
Mm-hmm.
started dancing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
That was later
what are
him.
you,
Yep.
what are you gonna do with that?
There's nothing you can do.
Like you
There's nothing
swung
you can do.
20, I think he swung 20 or 22 times or some shit and did not hit him
And
once. Not
missed,
once.
right? And here's the thing. That was older Ali.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like being that elusive, right? And showcasing that while you're just playing around, that it's demoralizing. There's more to this game. There's more to boxing than simply throwing punches,
Mhm.
right? Somebody like that, especially like you take a guy like Manny Pacquiao, right?
Mhm.
Who is one of the most aggressive fighters of the last 25 years. And if you're Floyd and you're able to catch him as he's coming in, right? And make him hesitate, you've now broken that man's spirit,
Mhm.
right? It is very hard to fight a brave fighter who's going to come in and throw no matter what. I need to break this fight down in different stages. First, I need to slow you down. Then I need to make you think. Then I need to break your will. Once I do that, then I knock you the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I've taken away every other weapon that you have. I've taken away your mind. I've taken away your heart. I've taken away your aggression. And now there is no danger. You're not going to catch me. You're going to miss. I'm going to tie you up and you're going to be frustrated. Once you're frustrated, you make mistakes. You make mistakes, I finish you. That's it. There is a mental game to this that a lot of people simply don't have the capacity to comprehend. And that, again, it goes back to understanding the artistry.
That's facts. So we got one of our co-hosts by the name of Justin. He couldn't make it on today, but he had the last two questions that he wanted to ask. He said, you've been dominant everywhere, and he means that sincerely. But what's the biggest difference between stepping in the AEW ring compared to Ring of Honor?
There is no difference for me. Competition is competition. If I have to beat your ass with more people in the arena, that's fine. But you signed up to fight me. I don't care if we in a arena of 30,000 or if we're in a crowd of 300 or we're on the street with 3 bums. You signed up to fight me. It's a fight. You know, obviously there's more money, there's more prestige, there are more eyes, more media outlets and all that shit, but that's all outside noise to me. You signed up to throw hands with me. Let's do what you came to do.
Exactly.
And once you step in the ring, it doesn't matter what platform that ring is on. Fight's a fight.
Facts. Can't go wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, I know you're a busy man, and I just want to say, just before I get his last question, I appreciate you taking the time to get on here with us. I think anybody that takes the time to listen to this will benefit from it, regardless if you're somebody that just loves wrestling and loves Shane Taylor, or you're somebody that's actually trying to better yourself in the business. A lot of the times, I feel like we get people on for the benefit of us being a fan of them, but nowadays I understand it's like, if it's my goal to help everybody that's listening, that's on the road every single weekend, the weekend warriors, if this is going to help them, by all means, I'll keep doing this for years. It's because I think getting people like you on here will help them just grow. And because, I mean, as you can see, you've been doing it you being almost 20 years in the business. I mean, I don't know if you feel like it now, but you may be in your prime right now. Yeah,
I think I'm just getting there.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much different from what it was, again, 2014 or 2007. Like, right now, you've always been Shane Taylor, but right now I think you understand everything. And I feel like if you could go back right now, probably 10 years ago, and give yourself the game that you know now, we probably wouldn't be talking. We wouldn't be talking at all.
Oh yeah. Multiple world championships, but I wouldn't take this journey. I wouldn't change it for anything, right? Because I am someone who truly believes that things happen when they're supposed to, right? There are a lot of chances that, there was just that post, who would win 2017 Shane T or 2026 Shane T. There's a lot of opportunities that if I had them now, I would know what to do with. Whereas 2017, maybe I messed those up, right? Maybe I don't capitalize on them as much as I should because I hadn't learned those lessons yet. So this version of me is smarter, is more ruthless, is more tactical, right? And that's what people should be more afraid of, right? Because now it's not just me going out there and throwing hands. Now I've calculated every possible outcome, right? And I know exactly how to break you down, right? And I'm going to do it with a smile on my face.
He's like Batman.
Fuck Batman.
Wow.
Listen, dude has all the money in the world, could stop crime at its source, and chooses to beat up on hourly thugs and day workers. You see what I'm saying? Like, nah,
That's a
bro.
fair point. That's a fair point.
Nah, bro. His only power is generational wealth that was inherited by his dad, who was in shady shit.
Yes, he was.
Not a hero. It's not a hero.
So we speaking on that. Who is your hero then? Who was your DC or Marvel hero?
Mm.
I gotta know this now.
Green Lantern was cool. I'm a Superman guy though. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm a Superman guy. To be able to have the power, to know when to use it, know when not to fight the big villains. You see what I'm saying? The ones
Yep.
who are trying to dominate the world or are dominating the world and trying to be, and trying to be too greedy. That's who we fought, right? And but for me, if that's me, I'm not giving you second and third chances to try to take over the world, homie. The first time I stop you is the last time you're doing anything.
Yeah. Heard that. Got to have that Moon Knight mindset.
Oh yeah.
Got to kill
Listen,
these.
I'm just getting into that. I'm grabbing my charger because phone's about to die here.
Oh, you good? You good?
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
So yeah, man. We our last question I feel like is a good one.
Yeah.
Definitely interested in this. So if you could run it back with any opponent, no time limits, no rules, who's standing across from you in that match?
No time limit, no rules.
No time limit, no rules.
Does this include the build up?
Oh, always.
Okay, hold on. Let me think about this on the way back to a more well lit area. All right. Standing across from, lead up and everything. MVP. I think over the last few years, I've been able to get to know him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And we share a lot of similar ideals about things, not only personally, but professionally. And I think deep down, he is the previous generation's version of who I am. And I think he's someone that is waiting for that next person to come along that he can give the game to. And I think I, along with my people, are the type of individuals that they've been waiting for that can push them to be who they're supposed to be, right? To be the men that lead all this shit, right? Or they can stab up aside and we can lead this shit. It makes me no difference. But no holds barred, no excuses. 2 men enter, 1 man leave shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's one that I would like.
That'd be something else, bro.
Oh, absolutely.
That's another one of the ones too. MVP, man. It's. I think I got a handful of people that I can talk about on here that I don't feel like get enough. Just do like they put in that work in the ring and didn't get what they deserve. Me personally, because MVP again, somebody that can talk his ass off, and he could work too. Like people just, I'm not talking about the stuff in WWE. If you've been actually watching him,
Listen,
brother can.
the man is a 3-time Hall of Famer.
Mm.
And people look at me like, what do you mean? I go, he is. Not only for his career, his singles career, for him being a manager, advocate, however you want to describe the role, and also what he did, and the Hurt Syndicate as a unit. You know what I mean? I think that himself, Bobby, Shelton, as a unit, should be in the Hall of Fame. I believe he helped not only, I'm not going to say revitalize, right? Because they're still stars, but he helped redefine and redirect their careers back to a projection and an ascension of dominance, right? That they should have never lost, but he put them back on track to being the performers and the stars that we know them to be. And so I think when you're able to do that and be the architect of that and engineer that, that says something, right? And not only are you able to do it in one company, but you've been able to do it in two, right? And arguably be more successful the second go round. Right. So I think when you look at it from that perspective, it's hard to argue that the man should be a Hall of Famer in three different aspects of this game.
And I just want to piggyback off what you just said. Of course, they would be more successful in the second go round because I felt, and again, I don't know how it goes in Ring of Honor and AEW. I really don't when it comes to creative control, but it seems like they have more control over what they're doing right now. If they would have had that their first go round, they would still be there wrecking shit right now. It's a lot of politics in this game, and I know that you know that, but I feel like again, people do not see the greatest shit when they can control it. When they can't control it, like it's just like it is what it is. I don't know what to do with it. Just let it be what it is.
Because you're susceptible to people's fear. And the three of them on that stage for the world to see, for an audience that doesn't look like them and doesn't know just how dangerous you have to be to come from that environment and to be where they're standing, that is scary to people, right? Especially for those that don't understand how to market that authenticity. It is scary to imagine something and somebody that dominant. Who do you have that's going to compete with that? Nobody. And if you can't compete with that, then you can't have it.
You got to destroy it.
You have to destroy it. And that's just, and we've seen that not just in wrestling, but in society, right? You see something that challenges the status quo, challenges the supremacy ideals of people. And if you can't beat it, you destroy it. All right. So I applaud these men for getting up off the deck, recreating that magic, and continuing their success. And I am anxious to see just how much longer they're going to reign at the top. Maybe until we get there.
I was about to say it. I was just about to say it. My one last thing I'll hit on that is too, and I don't know if you agree. I'm pretty sure you do agree with me, but I think Shelton Benjamin never becoming a world champion in any of these companies is criminal.
I think that's the biggest atrocity in the history of wrestling. And I hate the fact that people act like he can't talk. That pisses me off because he absolutely can. Right? When you talk to Shelton's a shit talker, man. Like respectfully, you know what I mean? Like he's a shit talker. And so I think that's one of the most underrated aspects of his game because everything else he's second to none. And when you are the standout athlete in a group that consists of Bobby Lashley, that in itself is that's a statement, right? So yeah, I think for 100%, He is someone that should have held a world championship. And I'll do you one better. The day I win the Ring of Honor World Championship, Shelton, you want a shot, homeboy?
Please.
You know who to call, man.
Please.
You know who to call.
Yes.
Please. That's a fact.
Everybody else might be scared. I ain't running from nobody, dog. I win that championship, first in line.
That's a fact. Ain't ducking no phase around here, big dog.
Nobody.
Well, man, yeah, I know you're a busy guy, man. You got a world to run. You know what I'm
So yeah,
saying?
I'm
You
about to
got.
put the kids to bed now.
I know. Look, I'm on the way as well. And man, just keep doing you, dude. Like I said, you even said it. You know, you're about to be coming to your prime. Just keep doing what you're doing. I expect nothing but greatness for you for the rest of this year, man. You've always put in that work. I look up to you. I think a lot of people look up to you. They might be scared to talk to you, but you know, you have always been a genuine guy. You've always been a hard worker, and I don't think that's ever going to stop. And I thank you for coming on here with this, man. It means a lot, and I can't wait for everybody to hear this, dude, because I really think that it'll help somebody that feel like they might be stuck. And whether it's promos or ring work, you know, it's always something to work on. And I think that you shed a lot of light on that, and I really appreciate it, man.
Appreciate y'all, man. Thank you for having me.
Seriously.
Thank you,
Seriously, man.
Shane.
Yes, sir.
Well, guys, that's been Tevin Talks, and who we got next? Mr. Taylor. It's been a pleasure.
Always.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.